point of any graphics card, once you get past the RGB lighting and that gamer look, of course, is the GPU itself, which does all the number crunching that pushes the frames of your favorite games onto your screen. But an often overlooked component is your video memory, which typically takes the form of these small modules surrounding the GPU. If you take the cooler off, the memory stores visual assets like texture and other information that the GPU needs to process and render a finished frame. Unlike GPUs, a video memory or VRAM gets a boost in speed and performance every so often. And today we are going to tell you about the latest and the newest boost, a type of VRAM called GDDR6X. GDDR6X is said to be a successor to the GDDR6 and the older GDDR5 family on high-end graphics cards. Although the plain GDDR6 without the X is actually a fairly recent innovation, with both the RTX 2000 series from Nvidia and the RX 5000 series from AMD using it. The new extra version was developed to keep pace with the ever-increasing demands on your GPUs. You see, the reason that video memory performance is so important is that you can have the most powerful GPU in the world, but in order to render your frames quickly enough, it needs something to work on. So if your VRAM can't get the visual assets and other crucial data to your GPU quickly enough, you can experience slowdowns and even crashes. Generally speaking, high resolution and quality settings require more video memory in order to store all that extra information, which is why you see recommendations that users choose a version of the card with more VRAM if they are trying to play at 4K. But you need high speed to move all that data to and from your GPU quickly enough, which is where GDDR6 comes in. Unlike the typical data pathways called buses, which move data one bit at a time, GDDR6 uses a new technique called PAM4, which isn't something you spray your skillet with, but rather a method that can send 1 or 4 discrete power levels at a time instead of 2, which means that GDDR6 can move 2 bits at a time, dramatically increasing bandwidth. And as we demand graphic solutions that can pump higher resolution frames faster than ever, GDDR6X has made its way into our graphics cards with the Nvidia RTX 3090 and 3080, which are aimed at 8K at 60 FPS and 4K at 120 FPS respectively. And based on how much each module of GDDR6 can store, the RTX 3090 will have nearly a terabyte per second of VRAM bandwidth, while the 3080 will deliver a still staggering 760 gigabytes per second. That's right, having more capacity actually gets you more bandwidth. And not only that, PAM4 scheme is more efficient since it can use 2 bits per clock cycle, meaning might not require as beefy of a power supply on desktops or suck as much of your power if you're using a gaming laptop. But hold on a second, I thought HBM was going to be the way of the future. Well, high bandwidth memory or HBM did look like it's going to take the graphics market by storm not too long ago, but it was more complex to manufacture than various versions of GDDR, and AMD, who developed the technology, moved away from it for the RTX 5000 series. However, that does not mean that the future variant of HBM could not compete with GDDR6, as the powers that are still working on improving the technology and might become cheap enough at some point to appear in mid-range gaming cards, instead of mostly data centers, which are using GPUs for non-graphics applications, such as AI. But for now, GDDR6 looks like it's going to be the king of the hill for a little bit. I mean, it has an X in it, and that makes it cool, right? So if you liked the video, hit the like button and also don't forget to subscribe.